Stretching and foam rolling are often confused. Using the wrong one at the wrong time will hurt your progress. Both are valuable tools but serve different purposes. Understanding the differences is the key to improving your fitness and overall health. In this video, I'll show you when to stretch, when to foam roll, and how to get the most out of both techniques. I'm Dr. Chris, owner of Trident Elite Healthcare and retired Navy SEAL, and I've helped thousands of people improve their flexibility and decrease pain. And today I'm going to share the secrets that work. In my clinic, we see a lot of athletes, and one of the common themes that I hear from people coming in is not knowing when to stretch, how to stretch, when to foam roll, how to foam roll, and how not knowing these things play into their injuries. And one of the most common things that I see is athletes stretching, static stretching, before their activity. And so those are the things that we're going to get into a little bit today, is the types of stretching, foam rolling, when to use it, when not to use it, so that again you get the most out of it. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not an athlete, so why do I need to worry about this? And we're going to talk about macro traumas and micro traumas, because even everyday people, non-athletes, can benefit from stretching and foam rolling to reduce pain and increase flexibility, as mentioned. And you also might be thinking, well, I've tried foam rolling in the past and it really didn't help. My pain keeps coming back. And so there may be some tips or pointers that you can take away from this that will help those situations. So let's dive into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between foam rolling and stretching, and we'll talk about the two different types of stretching. So let's talk about stretching first. So there's two different types and ways to stretch. There's dynamic stretching and there's static stretching. Static stretching is where a lot of problems occur, specifically if you're static stretching before an activity. So what I mean by static stretching is you have a muscle, let's just say the hamstring in this case, and a little bit of the calves, that is in a static position. It's not moving, so it's in a static position, and I'm holding the stretch. So stretch out my arms, get to that point, and hold the stretch for a period of time. That is static stretching. When you static stretch a muscle, you're telling the muscle spindles, the nervous system, that you are no longer needing to use that muscle. So let's try to relax the muscle and elongate it. So you're just turn the switch off for that muscle. And then when you've done both sides like that, or upper body, and you go do a workout, you've just told the muscles that you're not going to use them. And then you go participate in something to where you now need to use them, and that's how injuries can occur. Specifically in sports like high impact sports or dynamic sports where you're shifting quickly, dancers, gymnastics, football, basketball, basically any sport really, but even weightlifting and things like that too. The muscles are not prepared for the load that you're about to stress them to, and then you get tears in the muscle fibers, tears in the tendons, you can get ligament tears, all those different things, because you've just told the body, hey, we're not going to use these, let's relax them, let's lengthen them. Okay, so that's static stretching. Dynamic stretching is more, it's where you get a stretch, but you're not focused on the stretch. So for example, if I was going to stretch out the hip flexor right here, I could go into it and come out of it, into it and come out of it. So you see it's dynamic because there's movement involved. I'm still stretching, but I'm relaxing. Stretch, relax. What I'm doing with dynamic stretching is I'm preparing the muscles for load. I'm increasing blood flow into those tissues, not just in a typical workout fashion, like if I'm just doing this and not focusing on a stretch. I'm taking the muscle to the full range of motion, to get the stretch so it knows the tendons have load placed under them and relaxed, and that is pushing and pumping blood through those muscles. Now, I also encourage each of my patients and people that I talk to about this is a minimum of a 10-minute warm-up before activity. And I like full body compound movements. So that can be things like mountain climbers, jumping jacks, anything that's full body that really gets the heart and the blood pumping so that the muscles are working, the blood is flowing through there, and now the muscles, tendons, ligaments are prepared to do work. When we talk about the weightlifting community, and there's several people out there that will agree with this, in the weightlifting community that have far more weightlifting experience than I do, but you can put the muscles through the same range of motion that you intend to work. So for example, if I was gonna do a deadlift, I would do a very lightweight or even no weight, and let's just say Romanian or stiff leg deadlift. I could drop all the way down into that, stretch out the hamstrings with a little bit of load to where it's not overstressing the muscles, tendon, ligaments, but at the same time it's putting them through the range of motion that I intend to do and preparing that so that, again, there's less injury when I do a heavier or more dynamic work on that. Okay, so that's static stretching, dynamic stretching. Always, always, always warm up, and if you're gonna do any type of stretching, dynamic stretching before your workout. Static stretching, which is what I just showed you, is what you're gonna save after the workout, because now you're done using the muscles and you wanna push out some of the lactic acid that may have built up during your workout, and you wanna increase flexibility within those tissues. It's also relaxation. And so it's a good thing that you can do even before bedtime because it relaxes everything and gets you set up for a good night's rest as well. So static stretching always at the end, dynamic stretching before. Another good thing to do is foam rolling. So that's the other part that we talked about. With foam rolling, it's different in that the focus of foam rolling is on the fascia. And the fascia is that layer that's covering pretty much everything, but specifically we're talking about muscles right here. So fascia covers that. It's very hydrophilic, filled with water, so it's very fluid-like, and so the purpose of the foam rolling is to push the fascia around, move the fluid around, increase the blood flow into the fascia. That helps prevent entanglement in the fascia, which improves muscle flexibility, its range of motion, all of that stuff as well. But the focus is a little bit different. It's more on the fascia and less on the muscles, tendon, ligaments themselves, even though they are involved to a degree as well. Foam rolling is another great thing to do before a workout. You can also do it after a workout, that's fine too. So there really is no wrong way to do the foam rolling because you can do it before or after, because the focus, again, it's not on lengthening the muscle, it's moving the fascia around. So I like to do foam rolling before a workout because it's moving those tissues around, warming up those tissues, and it will improve the range of motion and flexibility. So again, I can go do a better workout. Particularly if you have knee problems, shoulder problems, hips, some of those things like that, where it's harder to get into positions until you've loosened things up and improved the fascia to be able to get the shoulder or knee or hip into a different position to get maximum range of motion and maximum work out of your workout. When it comes to foam rollers, there's so many different types of foam rollers out there. Any foam roller will work depending on the purpose of what you're using it for. If it's just general warm-up, full body, again, pretty much any foam roller will work. If you have persistent spine issues, neck pain, back pain, low back pain, things like that, things related to the spine, then I highly, highly recommend the IntelliRoll foam roller, because it does have a cutout for your spine and the ridges on the side to specifically address the muscles along the spine. It's also a very versatile foam roller for full body foam rolling, because it has cutouts to do different things, just makes it more comfortable. Again, it rises back up on the edge, making it easier to get things like hip flexors and stuff like that. So when it comes to foam roller, it's a little bit preference and just depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So before I share my final tip, I want to encourage you guys to access the link in the description below, where I share a free PDF on neuromusculoskeletal disorders, which is nerves, bones, muscles, tendon, ligaments, those sorts of things. We go into some different disorders, things that you can do at home to help yourself, things that maybe you didn't think about that may be making your symptoms worse, and how to address those, when to go get additional help outside of doing things at home, lab tests, x-rays, MRIs, things like that. So a couple little pointers. It's not a very long thing, just a quick little guide on neuromusculoskeletal disorders. Again, the link is in the description below. It's free access, so click the link below to get your free PDF. Okay, so let's go over the last couple of tips that I want to share. I hope what I covered with stretching was pretty straightforward. Most people have at least a good understanding about stretching. Hopefully now you understand when you should stretch, when you shouldn't stretch, what type of stretching, dynamic versus static, and what those things mean, as well as a couple things on foam rolling. And I went over foam rollers. And the last little thing I want to say about foam rolling is a couple little things. Keep it simple. If you try to overcomplicate it, or if you try to do foam rolling like a workout and try to spend 30 minutes or an hour doing it, you're not going to be consistent. So consistency is probably the most important and overlooked thing. People will get a foam roller, they'll use it once or twice, and then they won't go back to it. It'll be stuck in the attic somewhere or something like that. So consistency. Do your foam rolling daily. You don't have to spend a lot of time. 10 minutes a day is all you need to get a good full body foam rolling routine in. 30 seconds per body part is all you really need to do. You're gonna roll back and forth over that tissue. So for example, if I was rolling out my quad, simple way to do that, starting at the knees, rolling out. If I find a spot that's tender or sensitive, I can just gently roll back and forth, small motions over that spot. I can also lean side to side. It's called spanning. I can flex the knee, which puts the quad through range of motion while I'm holding in a static position. So this is a type of stretching using the foam roller in a static position, but it's still dynamic. So those are three ways that you can do foam rolling. It's the rolling, the spanning, or the stretching. Keep it simple, 30 seconds per body region. Consistently do it 10 minutes every day, full body, and you will drastically improve your mobility. You'll decrease overall muscle tension, decrease pain, and just feel generally better. And if you want more information on a 10-minute full body routine, check out the video here where I go into foam rolling. Again, I dive a little bit deeper into foam rolling, but how to do foam rolling 10 minutes, full body, top to bottom, and cover everything in just 10 minutes. So go there, I'll see you there, click on that video.